Know thy enemy. And this week we welcome Bill the Packer fan into the Lions Den on the main stage. We're going to talk about this epic showdown, week 18, Lambeau Field with everything on the line. Wow, let's go. Do the Lions stand a chance? Or is it going to be another victory for Aaron Rodgers and his smirk? Know thy enemy.
Well, if you missed it, Bill just said he's excited for the ass whooping the Packers are about to take this.
Yeah, I think Melvin's tiptoeing around. I'm surprised to see Melvin out so late at night.
It is not past Melvin's bedtime, Bill. That's not true. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main stage, Bill the Packer fan. And Bill, we got some questions for you now as we get ready for this Detroit Lions at Lambeau Field. Both teams come in at 8-8. The Green Bay Packers with their 16th ranked offense and 18th ranked defense in the league against Detroit Lions, high-powered 4th ranked offense and 32nd ranked defense. What do you expect to see out of this game? Before we get some questions from the panel, I want to hear your first synopsis. What are you looking for in this game?
Well, first, I didn't realize that your defense was 32nd. So that means it's worse than Minnesota. So I don't know.
No, we moved to 30th, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we moved to 30th.
It's like we moved up 2
took
spots,
that 32nd spot.
I checked ESPN 10 minutes before we went on, and we were ranked 32 on ESPN.
Wow. Yeah, that's terrible, man. I hope our offense starts clicking because this is the opportunity. I didn't realize your defense was that bad. That's great.
if you watch the game last Sunday, they aren't that bad.
Not the last 10 weeks.
Well, yeah, that was against the Bears, though. Come on, everyone picks on the Bears.
No, the last 10 weeks, the Lions defense has given up 20 points a game. So,
right. The first 4 weeks of the season threw off the curve because the defense was historically bad. Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Greg, we're going to start with you out on the West Coast there, buddy. I want you to give a good salient question for our guest, Bill the Packer fan today.
What's up, Bill? Glad to have you on here, man. I'm just going to cut straight to the point, man. This game is obviously do or die for both of our teams. Your game is a little bit more in your hands than it is in ours. Obviously, you guys aren't predicated on Seattle losing. I just got to come out and ask you point blank, man. How important is it for this team to get to the playoffs? And if you guys lose this Sunday to the Detroit Lions, would you consider this season a complete and utter failure?
Sure, I'll answer the if we lose part first. If I don't consider the season to be a failure because of these two rookies, Dobbs and Watson, this was a development season. So like I was saying before the season even started during the offseason, like our first half of the season isn't going to look too good. It's going to take all these new components time to gel. You know what I'm saying? But that's if we're going to lose. We're not going to lose. You know what I mean? So like I said, when we win Sunday, we're obviously everyone can sit here and say, yeah, we're going to Super Bowl. None of us are going to the Super Bowl at NFC North. None of us are capable of going that far. But what my one hope is to go ahead and beat you guys and then meet Vikings in the playoffs, kick them out, and then we could choke, and I'll have a good season. I want to be the person to sit Minnesota on the bench, on the couch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have to say this. That is such a Packer fan answer.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to win
the playoffs. If the Packers don't make the playoffs, that is 100% a failure of a season. There's no such thing. No. There's no such thing as a development season with a 38-year-old quarterback. You are win now mode.
Yeah, but when all your main weapons are all rookies, what do you think's going to happen?
That's fine. The season's still.
Now take Justin Jefferson out of the equation. What other wide receiver? It's 1 out of 10 that's going to be able to be an impact on day one. Like 1 out of 10.
You blame your staff for trading away Devontae Adams.
No, I blame Aaron Rodgers for not doing all the preseason workouts with his team like every other quarterback did. Look at Justin Fields, what he did during the offseason. Boom, he was there with Mooney, before practices even started out in a field playing catch. That's what Rodgers should have did. See, Rodgers lacks the leadership. He wants to say he has it, but he don't. If he would have been out there, this could have been.
I can agree with that too, but at the same time, if you don't make the playoffs, you can't say this season's not a failure. It absolutely is.
No, I don't say it's a failure at all. I don't think so at all.
Look at my face, Bill.
Bill, I'd like to introduce you to the one and only from And We Know Sports, Mr. Grov Tigue. GT, let's have a question for Bill the Packer fan.
Man, how you doing, Bill? How's everything?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Man, I'm praying on that pitiful Packers technology that you got out there, my brother.
Yeah. No, it's actually I got a new webcam and it's not really working too well. I gotta set something.
I know, dude. This technology is getting me too, man. Man, it seems to me that your defense is definitely improving. I really love Zaire, man. He's one of my favorite in the whole league.
Right.
But since you haven't faced an offense as versatile as this Lions offense since probably Dallas,
okay.
You know, how do you guys contain what the offense is actually bringing to the table?
Well, for one, though, if you follow the Packers defense the last few weeks, we've been actually doing pretty well in something we haven't done in years, and that's stopping the run. So, like what we did yesterday, you guys or the Vikings tried to pound the ball on us. So we stopped them. We forced him to throw, and then instead of playing zone like we did the first time with the Vikings, we let him play man. And look what happened. You know what I'm saying? Now we have a little bit more faith in Jared Alexander, too. So I think from here on out, Joe Barry might be more open to sending him to follow the number one receiver on every opposing team. Now that he's kind of like proved himself and stepped up a little bit, because he talked a lot of smack before the game. And I was even like, man, he's really beefing this up. This could end, bad. Yeah. But he talked the talk and walked the walk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yes, sir.
We got too many number ones.
Right.
That's the problem.
Well, that's where Savage and Amos and everybody's going to have to pitch in and start covering people all over the field. So.
Yeah, we have a 3-headed tight end not named TJ Hawkinson. Russell Wayne, give me your question for Bill the Packer fan.
Oh my gosh, man. This is an epic matchup and this is a much bigger game for the Detroit Lions than it is for the Packers. Any way you slice it, even if you guys are going into the playoffs, because you guys are used to going to the playoffs year after year after year. We are not used to playing meaningful games this late. So in your opinion, how big is this game for the Green Bay Packers?
I think it's pretty big because right now our record is out of the last 30 years. We went to the playoffs 26 times. So I'd like to keep that record going, So, but it means a lot to us because I want to see, this is the same scenario that happened in 2010. Yeah. I don't know if anyone noticed and caught any of the media, but Rodgers cut his hair to the same haircut as in 2010.
Nice.
Yeah. So they're like totally reliving this. So we'll see. I mean, this season means a lot to me, man. Like Melvin disagrees, but even if we don't win, you have to have, I don't know, you got to get your team to gel. Watson, Dobbs, Rodgers. Yeah. So at least this season we got to see who's a scrub and who's not. We showed Watson is actually pretty good when he's not injured. Dobbs is halfway decent when he's not injured. By next season they're going to be rocking and rolling. It's going to be deadly.
Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering what we're going to do with defensive coordinator because he fluked off the first beginning of the season. So now he's starting to pick it up. So we'll see. We'll see where it lands.
All right. Now, last question for you, Bill, is from me. And I want to ask you, do you think Rodgers will be back next year?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep.
With all that money, it seems like, for foregone conclusion.
$50 million is a lot of money to leave sitting on the table.
But I think the San Francisco 49ers could take that contract and win a Super Bowl with him.
Yeah, but they don't have no first-round draft picks for like a year or two, so they don't really have much to offer. That's the thing. You got to have some kind of draft or some kind of draft capital or a player to trade us, and you got to have the cap to pay the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be – there is a lot of people say there ain't no one out there that'll do it. Believe me, half them teams will be more than happy to do it.
Well, see, that's the difference between the Packers and the Lions is, Dan Campbell has this team. They're going to play with heart regardless of the game. You guys are waiting to the last game of the season to play with heart. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I would expect the typical Lion fan to say that, but yeah,
so
whatever.
The flexing gives us the understanding of where do we put the fear into y'all? Do we put it into letting you know
it's going to take more than one? It's going to take more than one game.
And we go into the playoffs. Or do we spoil it for y'all? Yeah. Either way, it's good news for us because it'll let us know how to go into it. I love the flex.
Yeah.
We're about to surprise everybody.
I hope so.
Well, I got to be honest here. As far as homers go, I try not to be one, but this Lions team's really got me swept up in the euphoria. But Aaron Rodgers has pulled my heart out so many times in my life.
Yes, sir.
That I have PTSOL.
Hey, Russell, can you do a poll? Can we get a poll? Will Melvin break his phone when he loses?
We are in Rodgers' head, too. I'm telling you.
Come on,
Don't
man.
do
You
it,
need to ask
Melvin.
that about Packer fans, bro. Like,
Oh man,
Lions fans is used to disappointment. Let's talk about y'all.
Dude, after this season, we're used to some disappointment, buddy.
You ain't seen shit yet to be used to disappointment. What did you say? You were talking to Lions fans.
So we got one Facebook user that says Rodgers needed a haircut.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got another Facebook user say if they uncap Williams, who does Alexander follow? Is it Shark? Is it Sun God?
We got
Amon Ra. Do they stop the run? Yeah, you got a lot of people to cover. We got a lot of weapons there in Detroit. I agree with that.
And if you check the speed and the accuracy of our DBs, they're pretty.
Yeah.
Hey, like I always say on the Packers show to other fans, laugh now but cry later.
Yeah,
right,
well, here we
right.
go. Rodgers disrespected Detroit when he told the reporter that we were not an over 500 team or some with some dumb smirk on his face. I saw that, but he didn't say anything that wasn't true. I'm not gonna fault the guy for smack talk. Here we are. let's see. Let's see who's better.
Rodgers is a media troll.
Yeah.
He lives for that shit, dude. The off season, he lives for that shit, dude.
Yeah. We thought you were one game away, and you guys did. You guys come up like the boogeyman and stuff like that. But I mean, this is a different Lions team. I really do feel.
Yeah, no, I believe that too. I think it's 50-50 going into this game. You guys are going to end up with peanuts and granola bars. We're going to get like the crab legs.
Man, the peanuts and granola bars are for the elephant in the room, and the elephant looks just like Aaron Rodgers. Eat all the nuts you want.
It's going to be a good game, though, man. I'm super excited to see this.
Jeremy Ballwright here in the comments made a good comment that Aaron said he couldn't believe that he lost to that team. That's pretty insulting. And I think, professional football players take that stuff hard. And I think the Lions are going to come out with a chip on their shoulder.
All right, then.
We're still going to whoop your ass outside, period.
Yeah.
Hey, Melvin, just whatever you do, don't bet your house, buddy. Don't bet your house, buddy.
We're going to talk about what's the most intriguing matchup from Bill the Packer fan in the Lions-Packer game. What's the most intriguing matchup?
Honestly, anyone who Jared Alexander follows, I'm going to be watching that. I like watching them play man coverage, and I'm hoping Joe Barry sticks with the same game plan as last week. I want to see him on St. Brown. That's who I want to see.
That's
right.
Our other careful what you reach for. Russell Wayne, what's your most intriguing matchup?
I mean, it's right there because I know that the Packers have some very good cornerbacks. It's how do your cornerbacks match up against our awesome wide receivers? It's a strength versus strength type of thing. Frankly, I don't think that you have three cornerbacks that can match up against our top three guys. I think you do have good cornerbacks, but they're not better than our wide receivers.
Greg Rice, what do you see as the most intriguing matchup?
I think our interior O-line versus their interior D-line. Vontae Wyatt has really kind of, after me talking crap about him all year, has really emerged these last 3-4 weeks since the Packers have gone on this run. Him and my boy Kenny Clark, shout out, ex-Bruin, gotta love it. I think it's going to be a huge X factor for our offensive line to get movement up front, to get Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift some looks on the inside, as well as pass protection. There are no slouches along that defensive line the Packers have. I know they're without Rashawn Gary, one of Melvin's favorite players, but I think that's really what it's going to come down to is our offensive line versus the front seven and us being able to manipulate that. If we can't manipulate that, you guys, I think it's going to be a long day at Lambeau.
GT from And We Know Sports. What do you see as the most intriguing matchup in this game?
By my last name being Tigue, I usually say that I'm intrigued about something.
Yes.
So the one thing
that's
that
intriguing.
Really sparked my interest and my concern, we were talking about Herbert earlier as far as one of the unsung running backs in the NFL. I have always loved Aaron Jones, man. And I'm looking forward to the way that we contain their running game. I believe that has been the strength of the Packers this year. You got all the hoopla and all the history of what Rodgers has done, that all the focus has been that way, man. You know, Aline, Pascal, Kaminsky, these big brothers need to go ahead and step up in this game. That is the most intriguing part to me, you know, because we're going to put up 30, 40 points. I'm not even worried. You know, I just don't want them to put up 31 or 41.
Yeah.
Know?
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, most intriguing matchup for me is getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Last time we played him, we picked him off 3 times. If we can get pressure on Aaron Rodgers, make it uncomfortable for him, that's going to be key to the game for us. The advanced weather report says it's going to be cloudy and 30 degrees in Lambeau that day. They're not expecting slippery conditions. I really hope that stays the case because you know, the slippery conditions always tend to favor the offense rather than the defense, and our defense needs all the help it can get. So I hope the conditions aren't slippery, but I do see getting pressure on Rodgers as the most intriguing matchup. So that'd be our defensive line against their offensive line. Moving on, we're going to talk about keys to winning, and we're going to start in reverse order, and we'll start with GT. What are the Detroit Lions' keys to winning this game?
I'm not worried about the pressure on Rodgers. I think it's stopping the run and just go ahead, business as usual in the office.
There you go. That's the keys to winning. That's a good call out. Russell Wayne, what are your keys to winning in this game?
It's controlling the line of scrimmage like it is in every game. Our strength is our offensive line. It is winning the battle in the trenches and giving our running backs room to operate and allowing offense to open up the middle of that field so we can continue to throw to Amon-Ra and all these tight ends not named TJ Hockenson.
One thing's for sure is the receiving core of the Green Bay Packers has matured a lot since we played them last. Christian Watson's really come into his own. Romeo Doubs is healthy now. Alan Lazard, one of our Facebook users said we got to contain Lazard. I don't know about that one so much, but Melvin G, what do you see as a keys to winning for Detroit Lions?
Turnovers.
Good call.
Yes,
like the key to beating the Packers, regardless of how they're playing this year versus other years, has always been you have to shorten the amount of possessions that team gets. Like, so when they get possessions, you got to get it out of their hands like as fast as possible. Don't give them those opportunities to score. And plus, you know, those turnovers that puts Rodgers in it. Like he gets pissy. He gets in that pissy little head space and it just snowballs.
Right. That's a side effect of the DMT. Greg Rice.
Yeah.
Give me your keys to winning in this game.
You know, like you just touched on, Mike, a little bit. I really do think it is containing these young receivers, man. Obviously, as GT was touching on, you know, obviously we got to shut down that run game. I think the big thing, a huge X factor here, though, you guys, is our corners, Jerry Jacobs and Jeff Okudah, shutting down or at least containing Doubs and Watson. If these guys get loose and have big days, we're going to have a long day in Lambeau, you guys. If they can do their job, get their assignment, containing these guys and essentially force the Packers to keep running the ball, and we do a decent job of containing the run, I think we have a decent chance at winning this game.
I think that's a great call out. And Aaron Rodgers, you got to give him credit. One of the most accurate passers of all time. He throws into tight windows as good or better than anybody not named Tom Brady, for sure. And like you just touched on there, Greg, we're going to have to stick with him tight, but even then, Aaron Rodgers seems to be able to find, just put it in the right spot. And when we played him last time, we commented how there was something missing. Something was a little off. Each pass was a little too short. You know, the timing was just a little off. Well, they seem to have corrected that. So it's definitely a good call out that our corners are going to be on notice to have this game in the balance, and it's going to rest on their shoulders. Right. Bill, the Packer fan.
Yeah.
Now, I think what are your keys to winning against the Lions?
I think the keys is spreading the ball around on the offense. We had 5 different players get a touchdown last week. And as far as on the defense, we need them takeaways. We got 12 takeaways in the last 4 games. And I'm hoping to continue that on with this Sunday.
Nice.
And that goes right to what Melvin said, our keys to winning turnovers, right? Us not turning the ball over and getting turnovers on the other side of the ball.
Right.
Well, that's a great call out, Bill. Hey, Bill, we want you to know we really appreciate you coming on the show.
Sure.
We're gonna make our predictions now because we're entering the final phase of our song, and this is the outro, brought to you by Toolology at the Machine Shop, January 27th in Flint, Michigan, the land's #1 tool tribute with special guest the 99. January 27th, the Machine Shop, the world famous Machine Shop. This is the outro where we make our predictions. Bill, we're going to get your prediction before we let you go. Give me a score and a winner in this game.
Packers 28, Lions 14. And I'm going to leave
2 touchdown lead. All right.
Yep.
All right, Bill. Well, thanks again so much for being on the show. 16 weeks of the year, you're our buddy, but this week you're not.
All right, you guys have a good night, man.
All right. Thanks so much again, Bill.
Yep.
Know thy enemy.